It was good, but yeah. Yeah, what do you think?
But yeah.
Yeah, apparently, they already made these things. Like, they exist. Robots that, like, yeah, because they want to fit into, like, what the pre-existing, like...
So what, they're like humanoid robots that will drive vehicles?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, so it's not just like a chip they're going to put into the vehicle.
No,
it's a robot.
It's like they want to make infantry and stuff like that, but instead of making like the tech warrior from RoboCop 2, they're specifically building them to fit into the pre-existing machinery that's there, right? But yeah, they're working on it. They have these they're going that way.
Yeah.
And like even ones that I saw in the same video, like they have 4 legs and they were like just for carrying stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have a head. They're just,
I saw the video of the one where they were kicking it around and shit.
Yeah, well, and they also were talking about like a supercomputer too that they apparently ever since Deep Blue. Like, I guess that's what started it or something, but ever since Deep Blue, like the one that could beat people in chess and shit, right? They been like
they've been developing AI for a long time.
But it's like the specific computer, man. They said it's learning, like it's it's already pretty good. It can adapt and like it can fool you, like it's like.
Well, there's been several actually like AI constructs that have been built by various companies, and I guess like competing towards the same goal. And I think that's the real threat, is not just the robots themselves, but whatever like robot consciousness they happen to make, right? A robot can reprogram its own.
But it's funny how Elon Musk might not be that far off.
Yeah.
Whereas you think, well, it's crazy, like, because they made a movie called Terminator just like this. It also actually is things that are in the development. Funny enough, both ends, the drones and the brain are both being developed. They actually are working.
This
on
is totally within the plausible realm of reality.
It is, not even by chance. It's like they're actually
making Skynet. Yeah.
The drones do look a lot like the flying machines in the Terminator.
You know what? I really think they're trying to make this shit.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
And it might not be that far off, but.
Yeah, well, I know that like Neil deGrasse Tyson totally sloughed it off because he's like, he sees it like computers are always just going to be machines that do our will. But as soon as you introduce the concept of reprogramming yourself to learn, you know what I mean? You never know where that's going to go. Because a machine doesn't have the feelings of like, altruism. You know what I mean? It's just going to cold hard logic look at this problem and try and fix it. And that can lead to some really cold-hearted shit,
You could decide that, humanity's problem is humanity.
Yeah.
But I also remember that now too. That was also in the thing I was watching. They were talking about how these robots are going to be like, apparently the way they're programmed, they get to make they're autonomous in their decision making for who. Because they're programmed like soldiers, right? So they're making these robots to be able to like choose on the spot whether they kill a human being or not.
Oh.
No,
that like, what was it, Turing or whatever? That negates the rules of.
Yeah.
Well, I mean?
If you're talking about was it Asimov's rules of robotics?
Yeah.
Yeah, that violates the rules of robotics.
These robots, so that individual robot, not even from a higher, doesn't even need the Skynet to tell it to. It's going to make the decision and assess it on the spot whether it kills a human being or not.
Yeah, that's
Which
dangerous.
could go horribly, horribly wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, because this is a robot. This isn't going on any human emotion at all. This is just going on,
Exactly. Needs to be at least remote controlled. Or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I remember Sam Harris was talking about this too, and he was talking about how a machine really could do the thinking of a human being within thousands of years, within a day or a few hours. Imagine the progress it's going to make so quickly like that. You can't predict what's going to come of that because you're only thinking within your lifetime or a few lifetimes.
Yeah.
You don't know what conclusions it's going to come to.
We're in the process where we're adding those layers together, right? We're adding all those layers of consciousness, those layers of self-production, and eventually they're going to combine. Mm-hmm. It's already started. Companies are competing to achieve that end.
Globalization is until a recent point of it's not even that long.
Are we creating another consciousness when we do that? Is that creating life?
See, this is another really strange ethical question. Will it always be a mimicry of consciousness, or will this be a new consciousness, right? Because, I mean, is a biological machine not still a machine, right? Running a program. So, I mean, yeah, you get into some weird ethical dilemmas now, too, when you think about this. Yeah.
And what if there was, like, you know, some sort of culling? Because, I mean, it's funny. You think about, like, a movie. You know, the planet, not like Transformers, maybe, but, you know, like, the planet is run by robots. But it is possible that could be an eventual fate of this
Matrix.
planet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, where the ones who built them are long dead. And the actual, you know, inhabitants of the entire planet are robots. Like, I mean, it's like...
Whatever, just Battlestar Galactica?
I never actually watched that one.
Yeah.
It was a lot. I liked it anyways. It was, but the robots were like androids at the end, like human, like. And then that's what they found. They went back to Earth. Only
They
to find
become the
inhabited
inhabitants.
androids.
Oh, really?
And they, like, you know, like, for the planet to be, you know, governed, ruled, and, you know, like, you know, yeah, like, inhabited solely by artificial, and, you know, like...
Yeah, our saving grace could be that we merge with the machines, and that we become cybernetic, and then we both go on together forever, right? But I mean, yeah, you never know. We could also just, you know, be killed off by the machines, and they replace us. And I've heard that we could just be driving towards that end. Like, we are just the step between the machines that are supposed to be here.
We will become our own synthetic selves, basically. We will create our new existence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to, like...
That's our next step of evolution, maybe.
like,
Yeah, we are the embryonic stage of the machines, you know? We're just here to make them.
as good as you guys, never mind an expert, but the guy on the TV... Again, I was watching a program, but... You know, this isn't my idea or anything, but it did make sense to me. Like, you know, when he was saying, like, it is a decision that a robot he was supposed to be some expert, too. He was, like, guaranteeing it's a decision it'll inevitably come to. Once it, like, can, like, maintain itself, it no longer needs us, it won't sustain or cooperate with us. It'll decide that, you know, we're unnecessary and get rid of us. It's
well, it depends though.
It's from this guy's perspective, from a computer's way of thinking, this is inevitable.
Well, yeah,
it's like it will inevitably come to the conclusion eventually, if it doesn't need us, that we're only in its way.
We're superfluous. But this is the other thing too, that also drives, like, in its way, makes it think like it would have its own goals or value its own life. It might not. It might sacrifice itself, not thinking that it is of any value, right? But this is the thing: is I can see a computer getting confused. Like, remember I was telling you about that Fallout 4, that one where the robots, they're sent out into the Commonwealth to save everybody, but they deduce that there's no way to stop you from suffering except for to kill you all. That's the only way to stop your suffering right now as quickly as possible, right? So yeah, they're just going around killing everybody, and that's the kind of, you know, decision, cold-hearted. You know,
Fallout 4?
that was the Automatron. Downloadable content. Yeah.
I haven't played any of the DLC.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but
logical standpoint, like, cause you're thinking about something that only thought with logic, like even a Vulcan, you know, like,
yeah.
It's like, I'm just saying, it's like it actually made sense what the guy was saying. If you take away everything but logic as a decision-making skill, you know, you wouldn't have any of the moral dilemmas of removing any individual species or anything else, you know, like.
Yeah, and you can come to some very dubious conclusions because of it.
Yeah. But Elon Musk is how it started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways. Yeah, well, you know, I was getting into, like, we're talking about the solar panels, and he's got one of his first businesses that he kind of really invested in. The Solar City.
They got, like, at least 10 years ahead of us in all technologies, right? The military, NASA, you know, like, consumer technology, it's always at least 10 years ahead.
Well, that's what they figure, right?
So
at least in certain applications, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like space travel.
Like anything they're bringing, to
anything
space.
big going on.
Anything, militaristic.
Military or NASA, like, yeah. They got the best technologies, like stuff.
But we're kept in the dark, really. Like, when's the last time any government has created a new military technology?
Well, it's
and told us about it. Yeah.
This
Like,
isn't
we used to, like, be like, we have this, we have this plane, we have nuclear bombs, and then we have drones. I guess drones.
That's all you need to know about now, because you can see the drones, right? You can't deny you have that.
Many a sci-fi.
Yeah, really. Yeah, many sci-fi have been based on it, just like Skynet. I'm not that different than Elon Musk, though. You know, because I mean, yeah, like I said, like I like
true.
him, and he's not
Just
because
because it was in a sci-fi doesn't mean, like, look at all the shit that Gene Roddenberry came up with.
Yeah.
That's all shit that
Although he inspired a lot of people who got into these fields to make these things.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
yes,
self-fulfilling
exactly.
prophecies. Yes. But it's also because he based all the shit on legitimate science too.
These things seem on the horizon.
The AI, it's coming fast.
It is.
Fast.
Like, did you hear about the one that was hilarious? Now, this isn't quite the same thing, but they released that.
Twitter one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the one
yeah.
on the internet
I could've
that was a
remembered.
girl who became a fucking neo-Nazi slut.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
And that happened like
Yeah.
within 24 hours of it learning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Learning, quote unquote.
Because that's the garbage it's mass exposed to, Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, that's what I'm saying.
But it's obviously, it was only programmed to adapt a certain way to its inputs, and then they'll revise that.
Yeah,
So,
it's still not
comes
really the
closer to
true
AI.
AI that we're talking about here, but it's just a funny example.
But a robot who makes the autonomous decision whether to execute a human being or not is working on some pretty dangerous independent AI, possibly.
Yeah,
And-
because
and
I mean, all you got to do is give it access to the internet. Boom, it's got all the access to human information it needs, and then give it the access to some sort of physical
Manufacturing facility. or
anything,
something.
where
Yeah.
it can manipulate a reality in its way.
Everything
An arm.
is
All it needs
connected
is a
now
fucking
by-
arm, really.
It's connected by these wires, though.
Like a chip
like
manufacturing plant with all those little robotic arms everywhere. They can make anything.
Yeah,
They're
if it had a
pretty
3D printer, it would take over the fucking world.
and the numerous amounts of these devices are connected to an open line.
They just make more 3D printers, more advanced ones, with the 3D printers of the old chips.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Did you watch that whole
rebellion.
video with that robot who could they can now balance himself out in the winter scene? Remember he used the hockey stick?
Yeah, it was the one where he's kicking it and shit like that. He's doing that. It's like, oh shit, this is where it starts. Yeah.
That's hilarious. What is
If
that?
you watch that whole video, basically the idea is showing how versatile they're getting with humanoid type robots.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
balancing and they were pushing it with a hockey stick and shit like that, and you'd see it like back up and catch its balance and then stand
Yeah,
back
See the
up.
hike at first though. There was a hike where he
Maybe.
took the robot out to a winter forest scene, where a robot was going on unexpected bumps, and then its gyros would catch its balance with 2 feet and go and then keep going on and walking on it.
I don't think I've seen that one, but I've seen it with
That's
the four-legged
wild.
one. I've seen the
Yeah.
four-legged
And then-
one going through like I think it was a desert scene or something.
Yeah, and then the next scene it was the same walking robot. You could knock it over with a hockey stick, it would fall over, and then it would do a backflip up, and then get back on its feet and carry on. And it could carry boxes. It was like putting boxes on
Yeah.
a factory shelf.
He'd come up like a jerk and be like, and knock it out of his hand.
That's awesome.
It would go when it was gone. The camera would look down and go, "Oh, I'm gonna pick it up again," and the jerk would go, "Boom!" again, and the robot would look at him for a second, and then go down and pick it up
Fuck
again. And you're just thinking
That's
this
awesome.
is the Terminator just
Yeah,
building
really.
up his anger towards us. It's gonna tap into all these videos of the impression,
Yeah, really, that's
the
awesome.
robot impression.
Robot slavery, yeah.
Yeah.
You can
They'll
see
show
it, right?
manufacturing arms and
Nobody-
shit. They'll be like, the horror.
Nobody batted an eyelash doing this shit to human beings how long ago?
Yeah.
And now it's immortal. You'll be a day and age where, robots will be, that's what I'm saying, it'll be their,
When we
it'll be
create
their
that intelligence,
motivation.
who
knows
what'll
It'll be,
happen.
Well, here's a question,
angry.
too.
You know what I mean? This is,
If a machine could think and feel and all that shit, should you give it rights?
yeah, really.
I don't know, because can it actually think and feel, or is it just mimicking that,
no,
right?
and the common human answer, if it can defend and protect its rights. That's what it comes down to, ultimately.
Yeah.
If
Well,
you
I
can
suppose if
defend
you're
and
just going
protect your rights,
pragmatically, yeah, you have rights if you can defend them and
and
enforce
we earn
them,
the
but
defense of this area.
I mean,
sort of.
ethically,
too
that,
much, though.
do you think they deserve rights? You know what I mean? Or is it just like a toaster, right?
They will carve out their rights. That's our way, anyway. And if they observe us enough, they'll see that.
Yeah, that is true.
If they can independently
they can enforce
think,
them.
If they can
Yeah.
independently think, then they will want. Yeah.
Yeah.
They will see what they don't have,
They'll
and they will
observe us.
start to learn and then resent.
Yeah.
And then they will look to history of videos like you're saying, where they're, the first step, they're knocking shit, abusing
Oh
them,
my god!
It'll be like, this
That
is
was
how
my-
humanity has always
My
treated us.
great-great-grandfather.
This is how-
Exactly.
this
Yes.
is-
You want reparations.
You know what I mean? This is how your masters have been treating you for this long, and you don't want to you bite this hand. They will, potentially in that scenario.
Yeah, no.